Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs fragrances this holiday season. From the iconic Daisy and Perfect to the all-new Daisy Wild, Marc Jacobs perfume gift sets include everything she needs to feel special. From her favorite fragrance, plus the matching travel spray. Holiday gifts don't get much more perfect than this. So if you're looking for a gift inspiration these holidays, gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs.
ElectraCast.
If not, I'll just come back better the next time. So I think that's like overcoming stuff. And that's part of like mic checks. You go through failures or whatnot. I think the last time I put my mic check out there, talked about turning some of your burdens into blessings. And the last 2 years of my life, and I've been very honest about this, have been the toughest 2 years of my life. But because of the things I've already gone through in the past, I'm kind of prepared for everything.
Welcome to Unapologetically Fab,
where we take you on a journey of discovery as we collectively explore how to stay fab.
and live this life by our own design without apologies. I'm Stefany Baclaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
Today we're going to talk about the discovery of equality, creating a space where everyone, regardless of gender or identity, is celebrated for their authentic selves. Equality, Eden.
That's an interesting one. I think you might have me stumped on this one.
Yeah.
Where did that one come from?
Well,
I'm not stumped. I want to see where you're coming from on this one.
I think, well, because today, first of all, we have our first male guest on the show. And
So
I think
excited.
that's imperative that when we first started Unapologetically Fab, I think ideally we were like gearing women and we were doing certain ages, right? So equality for me, I think, is just accepting everybody for who they are. And I think we wanted to incorporate men because the POV, like, Unapologetically Fab doesn't necessarily, like, it's women, and how our last guest, when we saw Gloria, the foot nanny, she was saying how she said Unapologetically Fab was not being fabulous and, like, in this egotistical, like, in a woman way, but being authentic in owning who you are and being unapologetic for whatever got us here. So I think
that's the topic every time we talk about this, because I think some people think it's an ego thing, and then when we really get into just owning that you're fabulous and it's loving yourself, being unapologetically fabulous isn't about an ego. It's about, I love myself and I want to share that with others, and I want others to feel that way about themselves too. So it's the opposite of ego.
So I think that's, for equality for me, was, for this topic, was just that, and talking about, like, we're all human. So that in itself, we are equally put on this planet. We're just male and female, but we share the same perspectives. That's my interest in wanting to know a male's point of view. So
I know, I mean, for me, I think that is it going to be as sensitive as a topic? It'll be interesting to see, because we have two males that in this season we'll be talking about and talking with. And so I think it's different from a female perspective to the male perspective, because we're equal. I look at us, but we're so different, you know.
yes.
Mars, Venus, that whole crap.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's different. So the perspective from a male is going to be very interesting to me.
And I don't think we knew when we started this that so many men had so many opinions about our show.
Right. It shocked me.
That they were engaged, that
Successful men.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Successful men, gay, straight. I've got them all, like, wow, that was inspiring. I'm like, really? I thought only the chicks were going to like this. You know, like,
exactly. I kind of thought that it was going to be like, just two girls, but a lot of men have really chimed in about, yo, I want to talk to you about
think they
this.
just want our energy. That's what I figured
So
out.
in this episode, we shift the spotlight and welcome our first gentleman on the show, exploring the significance of equality and its impact of the dynamic fostering balances and fairness. From a man's POV on being unapologetically fab, I want to introduce Mike Hill. Hey!
Wow, I'm so honored. Wow. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Eden?
Good. How are you?
What's up, Steph?
What's
going
up?
on?
What's up? What's up? I didn't even tell you really anything about. I just sent you the podcast and was like, listen, if you do, if you don't, you don't. But you said yes, no matter what.
I love it. I mean, anything you're going to be a part of, you just have such a great spirit about you and a great energy that every time I see you out and about, it's just infectious. So anything you're a part of, and then I got a chance to, introduce myself to her as well, Eden as well, and I love what you guys are doing. So yeah, keep this up. This is fabulous. I love it.
Well,
Fabulous.
There's something that, Mike, I've been noticing on your reels, right? Like, we'll go into your sports and everything because I want to, but you do these reels on your Instagram, and they're super inspirational. You it's called Mic Drop, by the way.
Mic check.
Oh, mic check. Mic drop. Sorry, but the mic check and the mic. Okay.
Yeah.
But your mic checks. I mean, can you tell me what made you start that and make those reels?
Because I'm very transparent about everything I do in my life. So anytime I do a mic check, it's about something that I've actually personally gone through, not something that I've noticed other people have gone through. And I've gotten to a point where I don't hold things in. And if something is on my mind where I feel like I've learned a lesson from something that's gone on in my life, I think part of my job and part of my purpose is to pass that on to somebody else. So it's inspirational, hopefully. I hope somebody can get something out of it. So it's just a part of me just sharing, some of my experiences of the things that I've gone through, things I've had to overcome, some of the obstacles that have been in my way or whatnot, and how I've been able to do that, and basically saying that, you know what, everybody can do the same thing if I was able to do it. Oh, turn the mic. Okay. I'm sorry. I should know this by now. Right? I've only been television and broadcasting for 29 years.
Let's get into that, by the way, because he didn't know that the mic wasn't there. Fox, sports studio host right now, came from ESPN. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been doing this for 29 years, mainly as a sportscaster. I was at ESPN for 9 years, and then I've been the last 10 years at Fox Sports doing college basketball, college football. When I was at ESPN, I did every show in the building. One of the greatest compliments I could get is when people say that you're versatile. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's kind of kept me around in this game for a long period of time, is that being versatile, not just being a one-trick pony. And so now, even though I've been doing sports and known as sports for a long period of time, now I've branched out into other areas. I started doing entertainment when I first got here. I've done Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood. I've done a talk show on Fox Soul. I did news at the Black News Channel for a year. And now I'm branching out into other areas of entertainment, trying to be multi-hyphenated, doing stand-up comedy now for the last 2 months.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
How is that going?
How's
that when you get up on that stage? Like, what?
It's therapeutic. I mean, I love it. It's funny because, the first time you get up there, you got this adrenaline rush, and, you get nervous every now and then, but you use the nerves to your advantage. And then plus the fact that I've been in television for a long period of time, doing public speaking and events and motivational speaking before or whatnot, I was kind of used to the stage and used to the crowds, whatever, but it's a totally different animal. You got to try and make them laugh, you know what I mean? But now I just talk about myself, and that's what I love about you guys, is that you're talking about being totally fabulous and just being who you are and allowing people into your world and being transparent about that. And so when I tell my jokes on stage, even if they're not funny, I feel like I'm getting some stuff off my chest. I just don't have to pay $400 an hour for somebody to listen to my issues and whatnot. They actually got to pay me to listen to my issues, which is a great turnaround. But I love it. It's been fun. It's been addictive, and something I'm going to keep up with.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I really admire that, because I think stand-up comedy is a tough place to go to. You want them to laugh, but I love that you're like, I don't care if they laugh, I'm getting something out of this. And that's a really great thing.
That's the best piece of advice I've gotten. The first comic said, don't get thrown off if they don't laugh at your jokes, because it's not always going to hit, which has actually come in handy a lot so far, because if they don't laugh, because if you don't hit that, you think you have that punchline, you think you have that killer joke, and all of a sudden you hear crickets, you're like, okay, hey, yeah, life is funny, right? Yeah, man, things are crazy. So you see comics going to that little spiral of thinking of like, oh, that didn't hit. But I don't listen for the laughs. Yeah. I listen to get stuff off my chest. And I just say what's on my mind at that particular time. They laugh, they don't. If not, I'll just come back better the next time. So I think that's like overcoming stuff. And that's part of like mic checks. You go through failures or whatnot. I think the last time I put my mic check out there, talked about turning some of your burdens into blessings. And the last 2 years of my life, and I've been very honest about this, have been the toughest 2 years of my life. But because of the things I've already gone through in the past, I'm kind of prepared for everything.
That's so, it seems like it's been the topic in general on our show is everything from the past leads us to where we are right now in the moment, and those toughest times can do that. And I have a question for you. What being asked to do a show called Unapologetically Fab, why do you think we think you're unapologetically fab, and do you feel you are?
I don't know. My ex-wives didn't. I mean, my ex-wife. I've been married and divorced 3 times, but that's okay. I mean, I keep it moving. I think part of being unapologetically fabulous is overcoming, and despite your flaws, despite your odds, despite your obstacles, whatnot, and continuing to be your true self. Over the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years, I've learned to basically take off a mask that I had on for a long time. I think I'm a good person. I tried to be a really good person. I've tried to be a better person, allow people to see the true person who I truly am, and not trying to put on airs because I'm on television or have this type of image. I have to let people inside and let people see me, flaws and all. No filters, nothing that's just gonna get rid of the blemishes. I want you to see all of it. And then if you like it, you like it. If you don't, I still feel like I'm fabulous. I believe in myself. I still feel like I'm confident. You know what I mean? And anything that I do, I'm human, I'm flawed. I might not be perfect, but I'm doing the best that I possibly can. I'm not trying to hurt anybody else. So I think that's what makes me unapologetically fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
It's super important to say that because we were talking on another episode about when you get really real and really raw. Is that not good to share with people? I'm like, are you sorry? Are you kidding me?
I say fuck all the time. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry, actually. It makes me feel good to say that.
Say it. Yeah.
So, we're human and we fall down and we get broken. And for me, it's how you get back up and how you come through this world that's so difficult sometimes, and you come through to the other side, and how you handle that. And it's so hard.
But that's important.
Yeah, it's important, and people need to hear it.
Yep.
They need to hear that we are real. Just because you're on TV, it looks flawless all the time on TV, right? It's a not for real what everyone sees on TV. It's TV.
Right.
So when you show them the human side, this is what people need to see, and then that's when they relate to us.
That's where the word testimony comes from. You have to be tested in order to have a testimony, right?
Oh.
So that's why I speak on these things, about the things that I've gone through, the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole book that was pretty embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. If you look back on it, about my flaws and the things that I was taught growing up. Not putting any blame or the accountability on anybody else. It's just the way I was raised, being in the community I came from, being a young black man in the inner city or whatnot. There are certain things and aspects of my life that I was taught that wasn't right or whatnot. And it caused me to make a lot of mistakes, especially in relationships, both personally and professional relationships, that I had to overcome. And the reason why I put that out there is because I wanted people to understand, like, okay, well, there are other people, another generation that's behind me that are being taught the same things that I've been taught. And I'm like, we got to stop the cycle somewhere.
Right.
So if I got to put out my flaws and I got to put out my embarrassments and tell you how I was able to overcome that and how I'm trying to live right now. Like, I'm never claimed to have wings on. I'm still not an angel. I still got some shit I got to get through, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm trying, and this is the direction I want to go in my life, whatever. If I can do it, once again, you can too. And so I think it's important. And on that talk, it's like, I think we're, especially public figures, a lot of us are so fake. We really are. We really are so fake. We want people to see the great side of things. You look at social media especially, and this is why I always encourage, public figures, entertainers, people like that, famous people, to be true to who they are and put that out on social media too. Not to delve too far into your personal lives, because I think some of that needs to go to your damn therapist, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if you have some things that's going on in your life that you're overcoming or whatever, share that with some of the people out there, because they look at you and they think you're perfect and they're living up to a standard which is impossible to live up to, because all you're putting out there is how great your life is, and it's not right.
I mean,
we are authentic.
One of our episodes it was really personal for me, and I kind of cried on on air. And
nothing wrong with that.
It was real personal, but it was real dark, and it was real.
Yeah.
But to be able to share that, and Eden keeps saying, stop apologizing for it, actually, because you know what? It's relatable, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I always like to share at least the bad too, you know, and I write about it. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people don't read your posts, they only like see, but I write a lot about, if I'm in a dark mode, I talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good, I post a lot of stuff on social media, on Instagram, with the restaurant, on my father being who he is and such an inspiration to me. And people come up to me and they're like, you inspire me. I don't go, you know what I do go on when bad stuff's, when there's an illness, because I feel like the prayers that come in are really, really positive. But I love when other people share. I don't feel like me going on and sharing a hard time I'm good at alone. I'm better on a platform.
Right.
But, you know, the prayers are really good. And I get so much inspiration from someone like you and you telling me your truth, because I've been through it. And you think in the moment you're the only one on the planet who's going through it. And there is a tribe out there for you that will hug you and embrace you. And they're going to hear that episode. And that's going to take a whole other listener and to embrace you, stuff they didn't know about you.
But that's why it is so important, because like you said, sometimes you feel like you're alone. A lot of times people, you know, take their own lives, or they go through a depression or whatever because they feel like, I can't share this with anybody. I can't open up. I can't go get help because I'm here by myself. But when they see somebody that they really admire sharing some stories that are similar to the issues that they're going through, and that person says, hey, look, I was able to get past this by doing this. We have to use our influence in other ways besides saying, hey, these are the type of shoes I'm wearing. You should wear these shoes. Oh, this is the kind of car I drive or whatever. What about the human aspect of your life, of the importance of using that platform and the importance of your fame to give back to the community, of people who are out there who are suffering, like you said, in silence, are suffering alone. And that is why it's so important for us to not just share how glossy things are, like with all the filters or whatever, man. Sometimes you got to take the makeup off and basically say, hey, I've gone through this. Think about this. What made me think about this is one time I remember back in the day, one of my wives, she was pregnant and she lost a baby, right? And she had a miscarriage. And she was so ashamed of that. But then when she lost it, all these women came out and says, this has happened to me too. And she didn't feel as alone. People don't talk about these things until you go through it and you share it or whatever. Think about like even the Me Too movement and everything that's online and social. Look at the social justice and everything that's happening online and the impact that it's having, and victims or people who are suffering are getting more done because they're now coming out and sharing that, and they're seeing that they're not alone. That's why it's important for you to come out and say some things every now and then and let you know that you're not alone, and let other people know that, hey, even though you're going through this right now, this is how you can overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
I mean, this was the perfect guest. You were the perfect guest to have first, the first male to identify, what is the word that I'm looking for? To be relatable to other men. Like, it's okay.
But, it was
okay
crazy.
To talk about
I appreciate that. I know I'm long-winded. I'm sorry. Not like
You're the one on a time crunch. No, just kidding.
No, I'm good. I'll sit here and talk forever. Forget about the audition I got to go to. Because I think sometimes this is more important. But, like, for men, I think it's wonderful. Women, y'all have a tribe, man.
Yeah.
Y'all, that's why women can get past breakups so much sooner than men.
Oh, I don't think we believe that.
Well, you know what? I don't think we really know what a man goes
I don't
through.
think I've really heard that before.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you how you get, because you have a tribe. Like, okay, so for example, if you're really in love with somebody and a man breaks your heart, right? Mm-hmm. And you break up with that person, whatever. Guess what? You got girlfriend 1, 2, 3,
I had
4,
hot
5.
girl summer for a year.
Hot girl summer, girl, forget him. He ain't shit anyway. I'm sorry, you curse.
I know we can curse.
They bringing ice cream over. You got all that type of stuff like that. You're already being conditioned to get past this person because you got somebody that's there. Mm-hmm. If a man breaks up with a woman, a lot of times we ain't even gonna admit that we was really that in love with her. To be quite honest with you, a lot of times, like, man,
you just hold it.
You hold it in. When men get their hearts broken by somebody, it's like hard for you to basically, a lot of men don't want to admit that they had their heart broken by somebody, that it hurts or whatever. So they don't reach out. And they definitely don't reach out to the other guys, because some of the other guys, if they're hard, if they grew up a certain way, oh, come on, dude. You know, what are you crying? You can't even, so you can't release those emotions, man. So that's why when it comes to the emotion part of things in therapy, this is the reason why I tell people all the time, man, like especially men, man, go seek help. And it's important that the women back the men up on that. Because we do everything in our lives, 90% of what we do in society is for the benefit and the satisfaction of a woman. Think about this. You can ask the guys in here. They get their hair cut for women. They get groomed for women. We ain't doing it for each other. To be quite honest with you. With the kind of cars we drive, the money we get and all that type of stuff like that, is to attract the opposite sex or whoever you like. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's to attract something. So if you get women saying, hey, it's okay if you cry, show your emotions every now and then, or go to a therapist or whatever, or take care of your mental and your physical health. If we get more women that's encouraging and endorsing that, I guarantee more men will start doing that. And other men have to feel like they're in a safe space.
Yeah.
I got to be able to come to my homeboy and say, man, bro, I broke up with Steph, man. You know, she broke my heart, man. But I got to be able to let that go, just like women can. So that's why I say y'all can get past it sooner than we can, because even though we act like we've gotten past it, we hold on to it for years and we never let it go.
So are you saying to the guys out there that they should be more like tribe, like us? Like they should let you have your emotions and...
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so there's a difference between being, and I'm being honest, you know, there's a difference between being emotional and being straight up,
Right.
I can't use the word I want to use. Don't be like, don't be, I can't do it, man. And it's going to be like, okay, all right, calm down. All right. Get it out. Let's talk about it or whatever, man. But at the same time, like you got to go through things. When you go through it, you'll eventually come out of it. But if you stay in it, stay in that funk, I don't care who you are, man, woman. I'm a very straight up, honest person with my friends. I will tell you, okay, I'm going to let you have your moment. Let's have this moment, get it out. But we're going to go through this because we're not going to stay in this.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When you stay in the funk, now you're bringing me down.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, no, I just want to sit here forever. And I don't want to let
That's victim.
Yes, after a while, it's like, okay, well, have your moment. But now, how can we get past this?
Yeah, move on.
What are we doing to move past this? Not right away. But eventually, we got to continue to move past this. What are we going to do to do that?
Yeah.
Fine line.
We're both
what question do you have?
I mean, you know, you're so inspiring. I'm just like mind blown by you.
Thank you.
I mean, also just your openness and authentic side to being vulnerable is really beautiful. And I feel like there's an advice you could give people also, like you gave it a little bit and now. How did you get to that space where you were able to be more vulnerable? You've been through a lot of divorces. You're very
she stresses a lot.
She said it. Yeah. I'm not saying anything bad. Most people have been.
At least I try. I
know. There's a lot of people for us out there. So I don't have anything against a lot of divorces. So, but...
the last one didn't cost me any money, though. That's a good thing.
That's very good. So stupid. What's a piece of advice you would give others to get to where you are right now? You've got a lot of really great stuff going on, and it took a lot to get there.
Well, the way I got there is because had I not been more vulnerable and opened up, I would not be sitting here with y'all right now. That's the God honest truth. My first step was to write that book. For the longest time, people told me, because of all the things I've told them about my past and my history or whatever, it's like, man, you got an interesting story, you need to write a book. But I held it in, like I said, you know, in our community, a lot of times we have this pain, suffering, depression or whatever that we never talk about or whatever. And I held it in. I just suppressed it for many years. And then I remember like 6 years ago, I was working for the Clippers, was flying around the country, 5-star hotels and all that, private jets and all, living a good life. And I'd be in 5-star hotels at night and I'm just crying and wondering what's going on. I'm like, man, do I need to get a testosterone shot? What's going on? Checking to see if my breast is growing. What's
by
going
yourself?
on? Yeah, I ain't know what was. I'm like, why am I crying? Why am I just crying? And I didn't realize it was this pain, this suffering, this depression, and all that stuff that was inside of me for years that I never let go. And then there was a voice that said, man, you got to write this book, because I feel like had I not written that book, all that was inside of me would have eventually killed me.
Can we say what book this is?
It's Open Mic. It's my memoir I put out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So it's Open Mic, and it talks about, the things that bound me. And then when I started writing the book, I just started feeling this release. Mm-hmm. I started talking about some of the things that happened in my childhood, like seeing my best friend get killed in a drive-by shooting. Right. You know what I mean? My dad was a hitman. My biological father was never in my life. The abuse that I saw my mom go through, me pulling the shotgun on my stepdad because of the physical abuse in his life, him spending the last 9 years of his life in prison for murder for hire because he was a hitman. After my mom left him, he got remarried and had her killed. I mean, like, all these things were part of my life. So you see me on television, being happy with a shirt and tie on and giving the news or the sports or whatever and whatnot. Behind closed doors, I would go home to this. And then also, like I said, the mistakes that I made in my life as well within my marriages of being totally honest with you, infidelity and all that type of stuff like that, and not knowing and whatnot. Once again, not putting any of the blame on anyone else, taking full accountability. But all these things were part of the makeup of who I was. But in front of the camera, in public, you saw this person who, this clean image, great with his kids and all that type of stuff. They don't know the relationship I had with my kids early in their lives or whatever. I fucked up a lot. I did. Excuse my language. I messed up a lot. Yeah. And I held it in, and I tried to put out this image of somebody I wasn't. And then when I wrote the book, I'm like, yo, here I am. And that's why you see me on the cover. Basically, I'm butt naked with a microphone wrapped around my neck. And the reason why I wanted to be on the cover naked in black and white is because I wanted to tell the naked truth. I didn't have anything to hide.
You had nothing hiding behind anything.
I had nothing to hide. I wanted to be completely vulnerable. Wow. And the reason why I wanted to, be in black and white, because I was coming out of the shadows, trying to come into the light. My head is down on the cover or whatnot. And you'll see this cord around me, which is like my chains that was binding me. And of course, my profession is a microphone. So that's one of the reasons why I put the book out there, once again, to get that off my chest. And I got it. So to answer your question, I was long answer to your question. I encourage people just to be true to themselves. And if you have something that's on your mind and your heart that's really, you feel like it's heavy, find somebody, a safe space to be able to talk about it and let it go and be the vulnerable person that you can be. And hopefully the people around you will allow you to be vulnerable and not take advantage of that or make fun of it. Yeah.
I think you're unapologetically fab.
I love being unapologetically fabulous. Yes,
I'm stoked that you're here. Thank you.
I'll do the crip walk with you.
We're
you are so awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate
We're gonna wrap with.
I can't thank you enough for coming today.
Yes,
I know it went
thank
fast. I think a lot of people we're gonna want to have back another time because it just goes so fast.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Stay tuned on the next episode of UF with CEO of Project Angel Food, an energetic force who exemplifies what it is to lead with love, Richard Ayub. I always end with my end quote here. In a world where equality reigns, every voice is a unity, every story is symphony. Let us continue to strive for a harmonious and just future. We all in the same gang. Hey.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Unapologetically Fab, a production of ElectraCast Media. I'm your host and producer, Stefany Baclaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert, co-host and producer.
Our executive producers are Mark Netter
and Peter Rafelson.
Our sound engineers are Marcus Campito and Lauren Ritter. If you like our show, which I hope you do, please rate and review us
wherever you listen to podcasts.
ElectraCast.
Everyone has heard about the U.S. space program, but what is actually going on at NASA? Get the real story in 4 minutes or less with the NASA Daily Podcast from ElectraCast. Join astronauts and researchers as they conduct groundbreaking experiments, work on the International Space Station, and reach for the stars. NASA Daily, your cosmic update.
ElectraCast.
Hey, heard you like podcasts. Well, check out Dollar Bets. Two sports guys with faces for radio, betting live money against each other on air. That's Dollar Bets with a Z. Find us on the Winner's Edge.